And then she's like, so it gets to the weekend, right? It gets to the day that they did that freak off, and she's trying to figure out what her plans are. And he's like, okay, well, I'm down to do whatever you want to do. Let me know what you got going on. So she's like, I want to see my baby. And then they start, and now they're having a conversation about the freak off. And he's telling her, since you want to do this, you plan it. Call the guy from the male escort service they were using, Cowboys or something like that, and get who you want. You set up how this one is going to go. He even said to her in text messages, like, if you want, we can sit back and just watch. Like, we don't have to even participate. And they asked her, but they was like, okay, so what does that mean? Like, sit back and just, when they brought it to Puff and said, well, when he was withdrawing, were your days worse with him and his anger? And she was like, oh yeah, for sure. They did that because they're trying to give reason behind a lot of what we saw in those videos. Y'all think that's going to help him?
No.
No, it's not going to help him.
Hitting a woman and beating a woman, there's no
excuse
for that. Regardless, nah, there's no excuse for that.
Withdrawal is not. First of all, you're not even supposed to be that strong on a withdrawal. Like, you're supposed to be sick, illin'. Like, nah, that's not going to help.
I don't know what the prosecutors are doing. They did such a good job the day before of laying out, what they had and establishing why their charges make sense, even though I don't think that it's as, like, gut-wrenching as they've made it seem from all the indictments and stuff like that. But y'all, the way that Cassie was looking on that thing yesterday, first of all, they debunked so many different things, just speaking to her credibility, right? Like, not getting into, like, the forest and all that yet, right? Just speaking to her credibility. Y'all know on the stand the day before, she told that story about Suge Knight and Puff and D-Rock allegedly grabbing guns and going to run into Suge Knight at Mel's Diner. Right. And he left from a freak off to do that, according to her, right? So, according to the defense team and the interview that Cassie did with the prosecutors before she got on the stand, like in the beginning of the investigations, that story was completely not true that she said on the stand the day before that. So
how did they debunk that?
Who remembers escorts' names?
No, she remembered a lot of them
because they were using
they were using a lot of them for a long period of time and taking them to different states. But drug use. So there was a time in 2017 where things were like super, super hazy, right? And she on the stand said, I really don't remember much from this time because there was something else that they were talking to her about, and it was just all over the place, and she wasn't sounding like she was telling the truth. So they're talking to her about the drug use, and the day before, remember I told you guys, they were asking her about the drug use and asking her how she would resupply on drugs, like who gave her the drug dealer's contacts and stuff like that. And she said, Diddy. And when she said that, I watched Diddy in court look at her like, girl, what? Yesterday on the stand, they said, okay, so let's talk about your drug use, right? Because is it or is it not true that, both of you guys were using drugs, but like Diddy was still able to run multiple businesses and like ran down a list of everything he was doing. He was more functioning. And she was like, yeah, I mean, you could say that. And then they go